Are you missing an essential system for hitting 10K a month consistently? I've been doing quite a few coaching calls lately, and this question keeps coming up over and over again. It's like you're trying to bake your famous chocolate chip cookies, but you only have half the recipe. You might have the flour and the eggs, maybe even the chocolate, but without all of the ingredients working together in the right order, you're just not going to get those cookies. The same thing happens in your business. You might have great content, you might even have a solid offer, but if you're missing even just one of these 5 non-negotiable systems, you're going to find yourself working a lot harder than you have to be and maybe working on things that aren't actually going to make a difference. What will make a difference? Watch this video for the 5 systems that are going to help you reach 10K a month consistently. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Haley Dale, a content and marketing strategist for coaches, course creators, and service providers. As I'm coming up to the launch of the 10K monthly content system, a program that I've been running for several years now, I've been thinking a lot about what systems matter most for that first benchmark of hitting 10K a month consistently. It really wasn't that difficult to distill it down to these core 5 because they're actually the ones that the entire program is built around. But even with that being said, I'm putting this out there as a public service announcement. I have seen so many business owners struggling lately to make sales, and I want to remind you to bring it back to the basics. These are 5 very powerful, very potent systems that are going to make a really big difference in your business. So even if you don't end up joining me in the 10K monthly content system and it opens this week, which I hope you do, we're running our live round and there's a bonus business model strategy session call that many people tell me is worth the entire investment in the program. You'll still have these systems that you can work on setting up for yourself. The first system in this 10K a month monthly system suite is your monthly revenue planning system. When was the last time you actually sold your offer? I know, you have sales goals, you've written them down, maybe even put them on a vision board. But what I see happening with so many business owners is that they'll tell me about their ambitious revenue targets. And then when we pull back the curtains to examine why they're not hitting those numbers, it inevitably comes back to this simple question: when was the last time you actively sold your offer? If you want to sell more, you have to sell more, meaning you have to sell more, right? You need to do more selling. And not only are most people not selling very often, they're also selling kind of half-assedly when they do. Sound familiar? This is exactly why the monthly revenue planning system is your first non-negotiable system in this 10K a month monthly system suite. It's going to help you get intentional about your selling because instead of hoping it just happens, you're going to have a plan. Your first step to selling more is to plan for it. Here is your monthly revenue planning framework. Step 1, set your monthly revenue goal. How much do you want to make this month? Write down a specific number. And yes, this high-level process should be tailored to your specific business model, which is exactly what we dive into in the 10K monthly content system. Step 2 is to choose one offer to focus on. Don't just stop at the goal here. What specific offer are you focused on selling and promoting this month to reach that number? Here's where I see a huge mistake. People say that they want to hit their sales goal, but then they, try to promote all of their offers at once. They think, hey, I have all of these amazing programs. I want to focus on selling everything. But that's exactly what's going to stop you from hitting your goal. When you try to sell everything, your content has no focus. Your audience gets confused. Yes, your other offers might sell passively through your funnel, but outwardly, all of your content should be leading back to one specific offer, whether that's your signature program or a gateway offer that upsells to your higher tier services or program. Step 3, I want you to do the math on the sales. So based on your current price points, how many sales do you need to make? I want you to get specific here. Then step 4, calculate your lead requirements. So now we're going to work backwards with some simple math. Take the number of sales that you want to make and divide it by your average conversion rate percentage. That tells you how many leads you need. Then ask yourself, how are you going to get those leads? Are you using something free like a lead magnet? Are you doing a paid micro offer to attract buyers? Keep in mind the trade-offs here. If you go the micro offer route with paid ads, you'll pay more for fewer leads, but you'll have a much higher conversion rate as long as there's a strong strong connection between your lead generator and your main offer. With the free lead magnets, you'll pay less per lead, have more leads come in, but typically see lower conversion rates. Step 5 is to calculate your traffic needs. So one more bit of math here. I want you to take that lead target and divide it by your average opt-in rate percentage, or if you're using the micro offer, the average conversion rate of that page. This gives you the amount of unique traffic you need to hit your goal. Why this math matters. So you might be thinking these numbers feel impossibly high right now, but what I love about this system is it helps you grow your audience every single time you run it and grow into your goals. Even if you don't hit your exact goal in month 1, every time you run this process, you're building your email list through your lead magnet. Month after month, you're growing the audience that you get to launch to. The key is setting the intention. Having this monthly revenue planning system is the foundation. Everything else we're talking about builds on from there. So what makes a good monthly revenue plan? It's specific, it's math-based, and it's focused on one clear offer that becomes the star of your content for that particular month. System number 2 is your monthly sales system. So once you have set your monthly revenue goal and chosen your focus offer, now what? How are you actually going to make those sales happen? Enter your monthly sales system, the how behind hitting that revenue target that you just planned for. I covered this system in detail a couple of weeks ago, so I'll pop that link in the description if you want to dive deeper. Here's the best part about it though. You're not going to be designing this from scratch every single month. You'll be plugging in different posts and pieces, but it's the same reliable process every time. Your monthly workflow looks like this. Create your monthly revenue plan, then design your monthly sales system. Simple, strategic, repeatable. My favorite sales system is the monthly content campaign. So this is my go-to system for getting clients to 10K a month because it transforms the ROI potential of your regular content. You're just doing your normal content strategy anyways. So blog posts, podcasts, or newsletters, or social media, all of the things that you're already creating. The monthly content campaign system simply designs that content so it's leading to a promotion of your offer. It is the only sales system you need to hit 10K monthly, though you can definitely stack on other systems like evergreen funnels or live monthly webinars or launch sequences once you've mastered this foundation. Here is how it works. So component number 1 is your hand raiser freebie. So you need something, usually a simple download that's highly relevant to your offer with serious intent potential. When people sign up for this, they're essentially they're raising their hand saying, I am interested in solving this particular problem. The key is making sure it's directly connected to your offer topic. And here's what I love about PDF freebies. Unlike other freebie types, they have high intent and you can get cost per leads fairly low right now. Component 2 is 3 to 4 weeks of nurture content. So this is just your regular editorial calendar. So your blog post or podcast episode or YouTube video, plus the newsletters that drive traffic there and your regular social media content. The difference is every piece is strategically designed to nurture people towards your offer. Component 3 is 1 week of sales emails. So either sales emails off the back of a live workshop or webinar, or just standalone sales emails plus sales posts that on social media for 1 week. The high level steps are to choose your hand raiser freebie, ideally something you already have, choose your nurture content topics and bundles, write your sales emails, and run your regular monthly content system. What I love most about this system is that you're not adding more work to your plate, you're making your existing content strategy work harder for your business. Through this approach, you're building your audience and moving people through a strategic journey that ends with them ready to buy from you at the same time. Our third system is your weekly content system. So now that you've got your monthly sales system planned, now it's time to actually execute that plan with your weekly content system. This is a really important system for scaling to 10K because without it, you'll likely struggle to consistently follow through on your content calendar. If you're regularly letting content deadlines slide, this is your wake-up call to build out this system. So I love what James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, says about systems versus goals. He talks about how if there's a gap between your goals and your systems, the system is always going to win. So it doesn't do you any good to have a goal of making 10K a month if you also don't have the systems to back that up. Your weekly content workflow is that system that helps you reach that goal. So what is your weekly content system? In essence, it is the workflow that you follow to produce and publish your weekly content bundle. everything from your long form piece of content to your newsletter and social media posts that go out in that frequency, in that once a week frequency. Think of it as your content production assembly line. When you have a clear documented process, creating the content becomes so much easier and so much faster. Here's how to design your weekly content system. Step one is to list everything you need. So start by listing everything that you publish on a weekly basis. This might include that long form piece of content, the blog post, the podcast episode, the YouTube video, edited videos or graphics, images that accompany the content, your newsletter content, your social media copy, and any additional promotional materials. Then step two, I want you to identify your tools, your templates, and examples. So for every single piece that you identified in your list above, I want you to ask yourself, is there a template that I use for this? What tools do I use or could I use to get this job done? And are there examples of this done well that I want to aspire to have that be my benchmark, right? Then step three, I want you to document your process. Here's where the magic happens. The next time that you create each of these elements in your weekly content bundle, take the extra time to document all of the steps that you take. Pro tip here is to record yourself doing it, even if it's a super long video, have it transcribed, and then use AI to create that initial documentation. Just narrate what you're doing as you go. This little shortcut can save you hours. Then step four is to refine and improve. So for the next 2 to 3 times that you create each piece, reference your documented step and add more detail or make changes as needed. You might identify additional templates, tools, or examples that could make the system even more streamlined. I think that these are 3 key reasons that the system is non-negotiable for consistent selling. Number 1 is rain or shine marketing consistency. So the more you market, the more you sell, and consistent marketing becomes possible when you have a system that works whether you feel motivated that particular day or not. Number 2 is batch processing power. So you'll find opportunities to group similar tasks together, saving you massive time from context switching between different types of work or different tools. Number 3 is easy outsourcing. So as soon as you're actually ready to bring on some help, whether it's a VA to handle something, some piece of the operational part of the content publishing, it's going to be so much easier when you already have everything documented. So through this work, I've found that having great documentation allows me to hire without doing any real training. Of course, I still need to do the quality control and give feedback, but for the most part, I don't need to train anyone because I have written the steps and I have the videos. So when you have systems like this, you're not just creating content, you're building a strategic business asset that can scale with you. System 4 is your daily content system. So this is another system that I've covered in a lot of detail previously. I'll pop those episode links below, but I have to tell you, I've seen this system dramatically change the circumstances of so many business owners, especially over this year in particular. This is really the perfect 4th pillar to add after you have your revenue planning, your sales system, and weekly content system in place. It is pillar 4 of the 10K monthly content system. So people come to me saying things like their business feels broken, or they're working all the time without seeing results, or they're nowhere near this 10K a month goal and they're wondering if it's even possible. To go back to James Clear's example here about the gap between goals and systems, when there is a wide disconnect, people try the system and things start to turn around pretty quickly. Here's how it works. Every single workday, you're going to spend 1 hour on your daily content and marketing. 20 minutes creating a piece of content, 20 minutes publishing a piece of content, so on social media or an email, and 20 minutes engaging with your existing audience. This is so powerful. Number 1, because it's that creating component. So cultivating your own ideas. We want you to get in the habit of cultivating and articulating your own ideas, especially before you start consuming other people's content. The biggest pattern I see with businesses stuck under 10K is they're investing not just time, but serious money too into buying courses, working through programs, trying different templates, purchasing all these $27 products, and they're consuming so much, but they're not necessarily turning that into action. So this is one of the number 1 things that I designed the 10K monthly content system to combat. It's all about action, implementation, and systems. This daily creating habit gets you out of consumption only trap. Next up is the publishing component, so sharing your ideas. A lot of people will create content and then shy away when it comes to actually sharing it. I want you to get in the habit of putting your ideas out there. This is way more about the reps and the habit of sharing than it is about the immediate results. But trust that the results will come the more you do it, and it happens pretty quickly too. We are not obsessing over metrics here. It is about building the muscle of showing up consistently, especially when you're first getting started. Then we have the engaging component, so having real conversations. I want you actively having two-way conversations with people already in your audience. For this, you can break it into categories. So people who've recently purchased something from you, people who've recently followed you, people who've recently commented on your stories or posts, or active engagers in your audience. Here's a bonus tip. Publishing a piece of content can also mean publishing a story. For example, I generally post either a post or email or Pinterest pins for the week, but I'm also almost always posting or publishing one story because that feeds into the engagement part, giving people something to respond to and chat about. This system works because it creates momentum. You're building the habits that directly to support revenue growth while staying connected to your audience in a genuine way. The final system in this 10K a month suite is your quarterly traffic system. Here's what I see happen all the time. People rush to traffic as the answer to all of their business problems. If I only had more traffic, if I only had more people following me, but they're not actually set up to handle that traffic. The first question you have to ask yourself is, am I even equipped to deal with an influx of traffic? Without the foundational system we've just covered, the revenue planning, the sales system, the weekly content and daily content systems, the traffics that you're so hung up on acquiring isn't set up to actually go anywhere. It doesn't have a purpose. Then what happens? You either have wasted a ton of money on traffic that doesn't lead to ROI and you get burnt out, or you just quit traffic altogether. I've seen this happen a lot because it doesn't work, when really you're just missing one piece or multiple pieces of the overall system that would make it all work together. As much as we focus on these individual systems, it's even more important to step back and see them as an ecosystem. If even one piece is missing, you're leaving huge profit holes that need to be plugged for everything to work together and support each other. That is really why the quarterly traffic system comes last in the 10K monthly content system. Because when you have the foundation in place, it leads to greater ROI, which leads to more sales. When you already have these systems set up and you spend money or time to get traffic, you're going to see more scalable results with greater ROI and more sales, which gives you more money to reinvest back into those systems, whether that's hiring someone, outsourcing, or spending more on ads with a proven formula. Plus, you're not wasting money that you're spending, right? One of the biggest mistakes I see people make is spending a ton of money on ads and traffic, and then nothing happens. All of that money that they just wasted because these systems weren't there to convert that traffic into customers. Or worse, they have something on the front end to sell to them, and then these people go into ether and they never contact them again or send more content. So it's really just flushing all of that money, all of that investment into the toilet. So here's how to set up your quarterly traffic system. Step one is to choose your platform of focus. You do not need to focus on multiple traffic sources, especially at first. You can certainly layer and stack them later, but you don't need a ton right now. I recommend focusing on one at a time. One that once you have mastered it, you can either outsource it, systemize it, or streamline it. Then you can consider adding another one. But for each 90-day period, just focus on one to actively focus on. In the 10K monthly content system, we have 4 plug-and-play systems for the main traffic drivers, including meta ads, SEO, including AI search, Pinterest, and guesting. So podcast pitching, teaching in other people's groups, those big visibility boosts. Step 2 is create your 90-day strategy. So once you've decided what platform to focus on, get your 90-day strategy broken down into monthly, weekly, and daily actions. I really recommend committing to the full 90 days, even if it feels like the results are slow, because most of these strategies take time to work and have a cumulative effect. You'll start to see bigger and bigger results from your focused effort, but you really need to give it enough time to work. Step 3 3 is to run your plan. So commit to those 90 days, show up consistently, and trust the process. Step 4, measure and decide. So after your 90 days, you'll measure results and decide what is next. Do you want to drop this platform and focus on a different one? Do you want to systemize it and either automate or delegate to a team member? Do you want to run it again for another 90-day focus? The important thing is to have your foundation and systems in place first. And when you do, traffic becomes the fuel for a machine that's already working. So instead of throwing money at a broken system and hoping something sticks. So which of these systems need the most work for you? If you're wanting to learn more about this and how to integrate these 10K monthly content systems into your business, I am so excited to be hosting the 4-day challenge, which is all about how to do that, and opening up the live enrollment period for the 10K monthly content system, our annual live round. So we get started on September 22nd, the challenge. So today, and I'll put the link down below this video. I'll also put a link to the 10K monthly content system if you'd like to join us for the live round.